Hey everyone, and welcome to the Game Week 16 team selection video. And this is actually going to be quite an important one because we are dealing with some situations a little out of the norm as this is going to be a blank game week with the Supercoppa taking place in Italy. But first off, what we're going to do is take a look at last week. And unfortunately, with the first day having the one game, I think it was between Pisa and someone like Lecce, or something. I forget exactly who Pisa played. So I had the captaincy on our defender here, Canestrelli, who didn't get a great haul. 9.8 is fine for Pisa defender, but I didn't change the captaincy in time, which obviously would have gone on to Lautaro Martinez, which thankfully he's part of the squad, but I did not get the captaincy on him, and it ended up being on Nico Pats, who did not score very well this past week. It wasn't a great scoring game week. Bringing in Loftus-Cheek was good. I think he got an assist or something. Sula scored well. But other than Lautaro, Sula, and Loftus-Cheek, the scores were not very high through the team. Milan got the tie. I believe it was like a 2-2 tie. So Allegri didn't score many points. Gabbia didn't do anything special. Um, Napoli lost, I believe, 1-0. So Di Lorenzo didn't get many good points. Giovanni didn't score. So it wasn't a great week for my team. I clearly should have made more than just the one transfer. Um, but I don't want to spend too much time on this past week because one, didn't go well, and two, there are some things to discuss for the upcoming game week. And here is a look at my team. Okay, I've already used all five transfers, and basically my entire team isn't playing this week as there is the Coppa Italia fixtures where Milan, Napoli, Como, Inter, Bologna, Verona, and I think I'm missing someone. I said Napoli. Was that all of them? There's eight different teams that aren't playing right now. Anyway, um, all of these teams are not include. Maybe if I go to the no, I didn't. Okay. All of these teams are not playing this week because they either are in the Supercoppa. Sorry, I think I said Coppa Italia at the start. It's the Supercoppa, and which is like I think it takes the previous winner in second place in league as well as the winner and finalist of the Coppa Italia. So I think those are the four teams that make it every year. It's in a knockout semifinals finals format now. And basically any team that was facing one of those teams this game week when the original Serie A schedule came out also has the week off. So I believe there are eight teams that are not parts of, I think Lecce is one of them too, are not playing this week. So most fantasies, normally just players from those teams don't score points that week, and you're only getting points from teams that do play, and it's normally called a blank game week, um, where there's less than 10 games. How Kikist has approached this is players that play for the teams that are not playing are getting their average amount of points, AFP, which is their average fantasy points, or if you click on a name, it's the FPT value here. And so players in the blank game week are scoring points, which is kind of weird. And it doesn't matter if this player is suspended, if this player is injured, it would be whatever average points they've got so far. And so you can be using players that aren't playing this week. Um, and another important thing is they're going to be considered turn one players. So I guess you can sub them out if you wanted to. Um, but they are turn one players this week, and then we'll still have that. So they'll be considered part of, like, for instance, Bassett, who's also turn one, will be part of it. And then there's also a turn two this week. But anyone that has rest on it means that that game is not happening this week, but you will score their average. So they're in past, you'd be trying to get rid of these players out of your squad and have a full starting 11 of playing players. This week, I am going and basically locking in my score for the week ahead of the games occurring. I've transferred in some players that I've looked at that have high average fantasy points that I could afford on my team. And basically, I'm just locking in points. I am automatically going to get 16.31 points for Lautaro being in the lineup. I found whoever. the player that has the highest average, which is Nico Pats. I'm putting the captaincy armband on him and just locking him in. So I'll get 1.5 times 22.21 points. Um, I think a must-have for this week is Moreno, a 6.1 defender, 19.97 points. And yes, that is not leaving me available to get like the big 30-point hauls, which tend to happen every week, but it's hard to guess which one that's going to happen. And I'm going to look, I think I calculated it. I'm probably going to score between 180 to 200 points, which have been relatively good weeks, rather than hoping that players that are playing score. And most of these players are from the lower team, so it's hard to predict whether they're going to do well or not. So basically, I brought in Magnan because he has the highest FPT for goalkeepers, and Milan still will have good fixtures, so brought him in. Then we have Gabia, who's 12.43, not great. Moreno, though, a 19.97. I think you have to transfer this guy in for this week and play him and get his average. Di Lorenzo, 13.23. Okay, it's a lot of, remember, this is average point, so it's probably going to be an average score game week, but I think this very likely would be a low scoring game week if you just had playing players. Salamakers brought in for Loftus-Cheek because he had a higher average on him, 17.51. And Gisa is one of the highest, 18.94 for average. Again, a little more expensive, and you might want to transfer some of these guys out after, but we have 5 transfers per week, and we're just trying to maximize the average. Çalhanoğlu, over 20. Lautaro Martinez, 16.31, and Giovanni, 12.11. So all pretty good. And then I will have one playing player. I'm going to start with Basic. If he scores well, then great. I'm going to leave him. If not, out of these, maybe I'll put in Enzola or Ahanor if it looks like Enzo is going to play, I'll play him. If not, I'll play Ahanor. And that will be my week. So basically, the fixtures this week, as far as the Serie A matches, don't matter because I'm just locking in all my points right away, basically. And also, Allegri, I mean, it's not great. I think the Inter coach is the only one with more than him, but again, just locking in that average. I know there will be managers on smaller teams that will be outscoring Allegri this week, but though in those matches you have like a what is it? You have a Pisa versus Cagliari. Anyone could win that game. You're flipping a coin as to who's going to win that. If you go with Atalanta's head coach, then sure, maybe you have a bit of a better chance. But I think this is how I'm going to roll this week and basically just lock in a solid score for the week and adjust things next week. Okay. But that's just important information to know for this week is that you'd be getting your average points, which are found along as we can see our averages here, AFP, average fantasy points, or you can click on the players and look for their under FPT. I don't know why they'd give it two different names, but that's the numbers we're talking about. Anyway, what do you think of this strategy? What are you going to be doing this game week? And please drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care.